Before we get into this video, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to the wrestling community. My last video did numbers, as the kids would say. I did not expect people to show up for that video the way that they did, nor to be as welcoming and positive as you all were, and I am so thankful that you were all so nice about all that. I did kind of think I was going to make people mad with that one because I was getting so much wrong, but everyone was just so nice, and that really speaks volumes to your community, and I am super happy to be a part of it now, so thank you. There were some people recently who were worried that I had disappeared. This isn't my full-time job, and I have a full-time job, and it takes a lot of my time and energy. I also have a lot of projects that I've been doing on the side. I've got bug taxidermy back there that I was doing for quite a while. I also stream on Twitch. I've been on Twitch for like 8 years now, maybe. And I am in the midst of trying to finish 50 games in a year, and I'm on like 20. I will assure you that more wrestling content is coming. Besides this interview with Fiona that's coming up here, I also have a reaction video for a bunch of different matches that you all left in the comments of that last video, so I'll be trying to react to those. I would also like to mesh my love for video games and now wrestling, and I want to play some of those WWE video games and see how that goes. And there's plenty of other non-wrestling things that I have planned in the future, scripts that have been in the process for a really long time that hopefully I will be able to get out before the end of the year. But regardless, I just want to say thank you so much for the reception on that last video. I appreciate the warm welcome and all the kind comments, and I'm just gonna keep trucking along and doing my thing. I hope you all enjoy this video with Fiona. She is incredible, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye! Hello everyone, my name is Frisbee. Welcome back to a Candid Conversation with. Today we have something a little bit new, something from my own recent hyperfixation, if you will. Somebody who I know from the speedrun community, but she might describe herself as something a little different. So I will let you introduce yourself. Who are you and what do you do?
So hi, I'm 2chan, or Fiona Macpherson. I'm a wrestler, and I also used to speedrun a lot, and not like totally retired from that, but just, you jump around from this to that. So those are kind of the two things maybe people already know me from. So we'll just go with those two.
Yeah. So I knew you as a speedrunner, and I don't even remember. Are you a Sonic speedrunner? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. You have the incredible Sonic tattoo. I totally forgot about that.
If you're listening to this and you're not seeing it, there's the best Sonic tattoo you've ever seen in your life.
I agree. It's really well done. Did you get it done like locally, or did you travel for it?
There's a guy named AJ who used to work at a place in Dallas, but he moved to North Carolina.
Nice.
AJ Pahowski. Shout out to AJ Pahowski. He does a lot of these like anime, gaming, tattoos that have the construction lines kind of built into them, like they're like left in, and he'll have like little accents that are like super him.
So cool. It's also really pigmented. I just have to say, as an aside, I just got my first like really pigmented tattoo. I wanted to die. I was like, people getting those really highly colored and like bright tattoos. I don't know how you do it. And like, was that your first tattoo, or did you have others?
That was my first tattoo, and I sat there for 8 hours.
Oh my god! And do you want more after that one, or were you like, I'm done?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do want more. But money is a thing.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm already planning like a Chrono Trigger one, and like it's gonna be like stuff that I cannot shake the importance of.
Yeah.
Might as well put it all over my skin.
That's how I feel too. And also, life is very unserious. So I was like, if I want a silly little tattoo, I'm gonna put it on me.
I gotta tell you, I didn't get my first tattoo. I'm in my 30s, right? And so I didn't get my first tattoo until a few years ago. And the whole time I'm so precious about it. Like, oh, well, I don't want to get like a bad tattoo. Get one, and you're just like, all right, let's get like 30 more. I'm like, I really want to get more.
Yeah.
Um, so you get much less precious about it. You're just like, cover me up, like, you know.
That's literally what happened to me too. Is I got my first one that was like, because when you start getting them, they're like they're gonna really mean something to me, and now I'm like, I mean, I won't get like a dick tattooed on me, but like I'm pretty close to getting just
The job
whatever.
killer. They're right there in your hand.
Yeah,
On
I
your
love
neck.
the job killers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, tattoos aside, okay, so I know you as a speedrunner. We can certainly talk about speedrunning, but like my very recent fixation has been wrestling. And that's kind of how we ended up connecting on this, is because I posted a video recently and you were like, hey, if you ever want to square off in the ring, or you probably said something more eloquent than that.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much just what I said.
And I was like, yes, absolutely. But can the ring be an interview? Because that sounds fun. So I've been sort of following your journey on Twitter a little bit of like, you were like, I decided I'm going to be a wrestler. I'm going to go to, is it wrestling school? Like, what is it?
Girl, okay, so yes, it is a
Okay.
school. It's an academy. It's a school.
Fancy.
But basically, like you learn the like obviously you'll learn moves, but it's not just moves. I think that's a misconception. Like wrestling is like, it's built out of moves, but it's there's a lot of storytelling to it, and there's drama to it, and
Yeah.
and it's like it's a lot of disciplines that kind of overlap on one another, and you don't just go in because you can do like a cool pile driver or whatever. Like it's not just like whoever can do the best pile driver, right? I'm not even sure if I've even given a pile driver or something like that, but there's really a lot to it, and it speaks to the same things that appeal to me otherwise, like outside of wrestling. Like I love storytelling of all kinds. Like I think most people like movies and games and stuff, and so there's a storytelling aspect to it. There's like the athleticism. If you like dance, you'll love wrestling. Like if you like combat sports, if you just like acting, being a character, there's so much of that. If you just like to look pretty in front of a bunch of people, like whatever it is, like you can tweak it to fit your like what you like best about it. And it's so adaptable, and that's one of the things I really like about it. Like you can just customize it into anything. It's like this open-ended
Yeah.
like mix, and I love it. I love seeing what it does for people too. It's like people on the inside, training, and like you see them like kind of develop into something, and you're like, oh, it's so cool.
Yeah. Did you know like this? So, oh, wow. A lot of questions just popped up in my head. I'm going to try to go through them in like an organized way. So,
Yeah.
what is your character? Like, have you developed a character for yourself? Like, how did you come up with that? Like, did you know immediately that's what you wanted to be, or did it just develop?
It is something that like well, first off, like the concept of a character in within the world of professional wrestling, like you are your character. Like it is you in the way I see it.
Yeah.
Not everyone sees it that way. A lot of people are just like, I'm playing this, and it's very obvious and it's fun still, but it's like like that, like obviously this is a character, but
It's different.
part of it is the long-standing tradition of wrestling is like it's you're supposed to think it's real. It's supposed to kind of be like the most cartoonish aspects of your life, and then there's stuff that's not real life at all. But my character, me, it's Fiona Macpherson, or just Fiona, or Fee, or whatever. But fantasy warrior. It's like just a lot of me plucking things from stuff that's influenced me. Again, a lot of games. I'm a big JRPG fan. I'm a big fan of like Studio Ghibli movies, and there's all these things that I'll pluck from. Like right now, what I'm doing just as a little like a little dash of, it almost like it only appeals to me, maybe like anyone else even catches on to it. But like my promos that I do for my matches, which I only recently started doing matches. They start all my promos start with a word, and each subsequent promo starts with the next letter of the alphabet, like a word that starts with the next letter of the alphabet. So my first one started with arise, fantasy
Okay.
warrior, like I just appeared, and then the next one is like brash are you, you're so overconfident and all this, and I was calling somebody out, and the next one will start with a C, and
Oh, I
so on.
love that.
Well, I got that from the naming convention they used on the anime Slayers, not Demon Slayer, but 1995 Slayers, because that's my
Specific.
personal favorite anime. But I don't think anyone would have gotten that except hardcore Slayers fans like me.
Yeah.
But just like you can do little stuff like that, and it's so fun to do, you know.
Yeah.
But my character is strongly influenced by just a lot of that stuff, and I'm just kind of seeing what I can cook up as I go. I think there's a bit of discovery that comes
Yeah.
with it too. Like, and you don't really have the whole thing out on paper because you don't really know what the audience is going to react to, what you need to tweak, what's really going over well, that kind of thing. But
Yeah, that's really cool. So you just did one of your first matches like recently.
yeah, it's in front of like a proper audience and everything. Like you train for a long time because you want to be confident in the ring. You don't want to just like be one of those people who just I think of myself as a wrestler suddenly, and I'm gonna go and try to get booked like without any training, and you just like look like a fool,
Yeah.
or like if you only have like a couple months of. There are some not great schools out there that will take your money and then they'll tell you some obvious stuff, for like a few weeks, and I was like, all right, we're gonna wrestle a match now, and it's like we're not in any position to wrestle a match.
Yeah.
It's like there's, especially against like someone who thinks that you're going to be really safe with
Yeah.
them. Safety is like huge because we do like crazy stuff. Like I'm not jumping off a ladder, through a table, like upside down. Not yet. Well, not yet. I'm not letting that happen with someone cradling me who's like only been training for 3 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like you gotta like have some experience and know how to put a match together and what goes where and how to do stuff competently. I remember seeing this like old Tekken meme where it's like the Tekken character King, got the tiger, yeah. It was like him like apparently body slamming somebody, very common move in wrestling, and it's like, notice how King has his hand cuffed over his opponent's neck. This is to keep them from landing on their head. King is a safe worker. Be sure to book King in your next show. Like, and then there's just somebody else and it's like, their hand's not in the right place. And it's like, see, they weren't trained properly. So it's like the little hand movement, like everything, like where you place stuff, like the timing, all that's really, really important. So I train like at minimum 2 nights a week, but I try to do 4 if I have time. It just depends on when my coaches are there. I'll go all week sometimes, but
Yeah.
yeah.
How much of it is actually so for context, I come from a dance background. So like you choreograph the whole dance, right? But when it comes to wrestling, I'm still trying to figure out like how much of that is just, oh, I know, kind of like how salsa, like you have someone leading and someone following sort of deal. And like there are telegraph movements that say, I'm about to do this. I'm trying to figure out like how much of it is actually like every move we know what we're going to do next, and how much of it is we're just like coming at each other and hoping for the best.
The truth is it's kind of both. It really depends on who you're working with. This is as flexible a medium as dance, like you just got 2 people. It's just whatever those 2 people do, we're just going to call that dance. But with wrestling, some people like to plan their stuff out and really drill it. Some people are like, just call it on the fly. Maybe they've been around a long time and they feel really confident, you know. I think I'm one of those people that kind of like, I got to plan out every little thing, every little step, every little hand movement, you know. And I'm not sure why that is. Probably just because I'm newer. Because I'm still figuring stuff out as I go, even when I'm in the ring.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, if you're um, tangling with somebody who's been doing it for a while, they'll just like, you know, just follow my lead, and here, you know, take this kind of bump, and you know, you roll with it, and it's, you know, they prefer to work that way because maybe they have some experience with it, like kind of falling apart if they plan it out too much. But you'll see that at every level too. Like you go up to like corporate wrestling, WWE kind of stuff. I mean, there are guys who call it just, you know, on the fly, and there are guys like, I know like Sami Zayn is like super plans everything out, right? Macho Man Randy Savage super would plan everything out.
Interesting. Do you have any wrestlers that you look up to and you're like, oh, those are my role models? I assume you grew up with wrestling, but maybe I'm wrong.
I did grow up with wrestling, yeah. I had like, so I'm a little older, right? And so I had like the little plush wrestling, like these guys,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
I had
Yes.
those. I had some of those back in like right around like early '90s. Like WCW was just starting to appear and stuff, and but I had like a Hulk Hogan one and a Randy Savage one because I was a kid, and that's just what my parents bought, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then you know, like like everybody, I got like really into it. Attitude Era. I kind of missed, like the '90s was kind of a weird blur, but it got to a point where I was like renting all the videos and stuff and watching the pay-per-views that went on VHS tape, you know, late '90s. They got that one shelf that has them all on there.
Uh-huh.
And you know, I wouldn't miss a show, and then kind of dropped off a little bit. Life was happening, and you know, I got back into it several years ago, and I've just been hooked since. I can't shake wrestling. It's a big part of my life now.
Yeah.
People I look up to in the wrestling world, I mean, like there are some people out right now who I really admire. Like I just watched the Bryan Danielson match with Will Ospreay. I love Bryan Danielson a lot. I never realized how many of the moves he does are similar to the moves that I do.
Oh, interesting.
I do a lot of knee stuff. I'll just throw it out there.
Yeah.
But like he's just like a worldly, like he's a citizen of the world kind of guy. Like he's just like so smart, you know. I really like Becky Lynch a lot, just because she's done a lot for women's wrestling, and she's just a great, like, just embodiment of a lot of the things I like about wrestling right now. Rhea Ripley's great. Love watching her.
Love her, yeah.
You know, and like we go back, there's like I can list off my favorites. I mean, everyone kind of has their favorites.
Yeah.
Like, I loved the cruiserweights from like Attitude Era. I liked watching them more than anybody. Like, you know, like Edge and Christian, the Luchadors, or Mysterio. You know, like all those people. It was a lot of fun back then. I mean, like you got like Ricochet now and people like that. They're really cool. But,
See, I'm gonna have to look up some of these. Some of the names sound familiar. Basically, if they were involved in WrestleMania 40, I'm like, I know who they are.
yeah.
But now I feel like I need to really like get my education, which actually is a good question to ask. Of like, if I wanted to really give myself a good background into wrestling, is there any like particular like matches or like anything I should watch to like get myself up there?
You know, depends on what I am like detecting, like what appeals to you about wrestling in particular.
Yeah.
I think that there's this tendency to default to the most extreme, like you know, like Mankind, Undertaker, Hell in a Cell stuff, you know, and like that's cool. You know, there's great hardcore wrestling. There's some, you know, obviously iconic moments and, you know, pro wrestling history and stuff. But that wasn't really a very good match.
Yeah.
We're trying to see like, you know, the meat and potatoes of wrestling. That's not a very good example. It's just them climbing on a cage and falling off, you know.
Right.
But I mean, I love that whole
sure.
event. Sure, but it's not like, you know, it's not like the peak
Yeah.
pro wrestling as a sport, I guess. But there's certainly like, you know, some good ones. I would say go watch that Bryan Danielson Will Ospreay one. That was great. I loved watching that one. You know, uh, I love watching Kenny Omega versus like just about anybody. Bryan Danielson versus just about anybody. Um, if you're talking like, oh gosh, who was there? I really like technical wrestling.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna be like, all right, put me on a ladder and let's see what happens. But like, I've really come to learn like chain wrestling and just like how they're able to sequence like things together and turn into like this great.
I
Like,
think that's what I like too. Like
yeah.
the one at WrestleMania 40 that I thought was super cool, that when I was making the video initially, I was like, oh, that was an okay match. I think it was AJ Styles and LA Knight. Was that it? And it was just like so fast paced and there was so much
Mm-hmm.
going on. And like,
Mm-hmm.
is that what you mean by like technical wrestling, of like there's
It's
just like a lot?
they're both really good,
Yeah.
and like AJ, like he's older. Like peak AJ back in like he might even be peak now. I'm not gonna make any judgment call there, but like you know like when he was really making a name for himself, like I'm thinking like TNA days, and like he was like doing death defying stuff. LA Knight's great. He can work a crowd. That's just as important as anything. And yeah, they can put on a match. Like uh, there's a million and one examples of like good wrestling out there. I think just maybe people sleep on some of the older stuff that wasn't like the hugely bombastic stuff, but it's still like a really exciting match. You're invested emotionally. And so like that's, you really deepen your appreciation of it when you seek out those particular matches and just like pick them apart. And, it's
Yeah.
just like,
What have you found is the most difficult part of wrestling? My assumption is like that it's just really physically demanding, but maybe that's not the hardest part.
okay, I'm going to draw a comparison here between my two things, right? You got wrestling and speedrunning. And I
Yeah.
think probably a lot of people listening to you probably, they come to you through like speedrunning and Twitch stuff. And so like to put it in those terms, because I kind of think about it in those terms too. When you're speedrunning something like, um, that's like, especially like if it's like on like an event stage or something like that, it's like a do or die kind of thing. And you're having to remember all this stuff and you're having to execute all this stuff. And, all that's happening at once. And, if you practice it enough, you get better at it. But there's always that element of like, oh, I'm going to mess this up, and that's part of the excitement, I guess. Um, but I find like even though I was like pretty good at speedrunning, like I don't know, my memory. I think my memory and just trying to remember everything, even if I try to employ some kind of mnemonic or memory trick or try to
Yeah.
chunk it down, like it's still like so much happening and your body's going through a bunch while you're trying to remember everything. It's like trying to speed run Sonic while you're, you know, running a marathon.
Yeah.
Like you're in the, like it's just like it feels like
Constant.
that kind of like there's a bodily demand that isn't as strong in speedrunning, and there's like there's somebody you're working with, you don't want to let them down, so there's a little
Yeah.
bit of that there too. And there's people all around you watching, and you're kind of in your underwear the whole time, and so that doesn't add any comfort to it.
Yeah.
Unless you're into that, I don't know, but
Right, right. Which you could be for
I'm an
sure.
exhibitionist.
Yeah.
You kind of have to be a little bit.
Just a little, yeah. There's like a lot of trust, I feel, that I didn't even consider before I got into wrestling in any capacity. And listening to you talk about it, and especially, like you said, people who are newer to it, like you're trusting that that other person knows how to respond the same way you do to a variety of things. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, have you had to deal with anybody else that's like, I know you just started, but that's newer, or that, like, I don't know if you've had any
Oh, I
experiences
mean,
like that?
naturally, like I train at a school. We're all learning, and there's like you have to meet everyone with kind of a baseline level of trust
Mm.
if anything's going to get done. But it's okay to opt out of stuff, but don't do it just because like you know just because you're scared. Like they might, whatever. Like most of the stuff we do is like not that dangerous, I would say. We're
Yeah.
just like take a clothesline, okay. Or put me in a hammerlock, whatever. I
Yeah.
say this, everybody else is like clothesline.
Yeah,
But
that's what I think when I think of it. Have you gotten like seriously injured before? Or, like,
yes,
okay.
I have.
You said that so casually. Like, yeah, it's totally fine. That's just
I
part of the
did.
job.
Yeah, and I'll touch on that in a sec.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do have to trust people. It's one of the only sports really that's like when you're working out, getting strong, getting ferocious, it's like you're doing that to preserve the other person,
Yeah.
not to put them away.
Right.
You're doing it to be safer with them, Like if I was training MMA, I'm learning how to punch so that I could punch the crap out of somebody harder than I could before. But if I'm learning how to punch in wrestling, it's maybe I'm just trying to gain more control over it so I wouldn't hurt them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I'm trying to do things that make what I do safer. And so that's also like, if somebody is not doing their due diligence and working out regularly and trying to get, stronger and better and stuff, then that's a safety liability for everybody else. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas like, in like basketball, it's just like, well, you're off the team, I guess.
Right,
You're
right.
not gonna hurt anybody, but like you're not really gonna help us. So,
Yeah.
So it's like it's weird, like collaborative
Mm-hmm.
spirit to it. Like we're all kind of collaborating, not so much competing. It feels like sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm killing the business saying that, but
No, I feel like that's accurate, and I think
open
that's
secret though.
no, like I feel like, and I've seen a couple people mention this in the video I posted of like coming from a dance background, they're like, it sounds like you get it, because that very much is how like partnering works too, is you have to trust the other person. Oftentimes they're picking you up too, they're flipping you around, and like you can't just like half-ass it. Like you both have to be full in it. And I feel like as soon as I started seeing wrestling through that kind of a lens, I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest. This is so impressive to watch. And like, that is what made me love it so much. And I just hadn't gotten that before. So I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much how I describe it, as like a dance.
Yeah.
Like that's, I like, it's a combat sport to me, but it's a dance to me at the same time. It's one of those, like, you're holding two conflicting ideas in your head.
Yeah. I need to know how you got injured.
Yeah. So it was my left knee. Yeah, no. So it was, oh man, it was kind of like there were a few events leading up to it. Like I had done something weird with it when we were practicing some move. It was some like kind of like mat move. It wasn't like a very strenuous thing, but somehow like I got a little like dislodged or something, just a little bit, and I was like my knee feels kind of weird. I think I need to. Oh, it was like an atomic drop. I think I landed really stiff-legged. If you land stiff-legged, from any fall, even like a short fall, it's not great because you can hyperextend your knee. And I think I might have done that, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna stay off of it, and then like I came back the next training session, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna like try to act on it, and I was doing just something really basic, and it involved like a jumping up, and when I went to bound up, it was like it was like this sudden like lightning bolt of pain shot through my leg, like top to bottom, and I was like like I was like holding onto the rope, like what did I just do to my leg? Dude, it's a super basic thing.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a little older. That might have factored into it. So I got out of the ring, and I was like just like doing that, and I was like, what did I do? And it was I don't even honestly know what it was. I didn't go see a doctor.
Oh my God, you never went to see a doctor
about it. Never went to see a doctor about it. I don't recommend that, but I do live in America, so
right.
Yeah, and I'm not a billionaire, So I was just like, all right, we're gonna ride this one out.
So you just
Yeah.
like babied it for a little while?
I just babied it. I Googled every physical training video I could, trying I'm doing all the tests and stuff. I'm like, okay, it's not that. And now it's like, I can sprint on it. I can, I do, like I said, I do a lot of knee stuff.
Yeah.
Just like offensively knee stuff. I'm jumping around. I can box jump higher than my cat right now.
That's
And like,
impressive.
I don't think it's not really that high, but it's,
It's higher than I can box jump.
I can definitely box jump, like, whatever the I think it's the 6 at Planet Fitness. It's like oddly numbered, this arbitrary number.
I've never tried to box jump in my life because I know I would fucking bite it.
Yeah.
I would just flat
It's actually
on my
surprising
face.
how high you can get on there, but like I'm on the 6 now, which is pretty up there.
Okay.
But I think it's like just above my belly button.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I'm trying to jump. I gotta get over that. But like I'm doing all that stuff like 6 months later, right?
Okay, so you're fine.
But I hope so. But I had to really stay off of it. It was killing me because I really wanted to be in the ring and wrestling and stuff. So now when I catch myself whining, I'm like, stop whining. You couldn't even do this like 5 minutes ago. Shut up.
Do they have like nurses or something there in case people do get hurt?
We got a first aid kit. There's not like a staff nurse or anything. We're just kind of doing it in there. But
yeah,
like I've seen someone break their arm before.
Oh my god.
And they had to go to urgent care and stuff, or ER. Actually, it was ER. And like stuff happens, and it's just a lot of it's like like surprising.
Yeah,
like,
but that doesn't make you nervous at all? Like when you go at it?
It's about as dangerous as just cooking a meal in your kitchen. I mean, like like you just do stuff just because like there's risk to it, but like if you're safe about it, then 99% of the time you're fine. But it's just sometimes I'm cutting something in the kitchen and I go
Yeah.
Or I'll burn myself on the stove, or stuff happens. It's just like one of those things. Like it's really not that much more dangerous than anything. In fact, it's probably a lot safer than like tackle football or something.
That's true.
People are getting concussions constantly.
Yeah. So. That is true. Is the end goal for you? I mean, is there an end goal? Is there like I want to be a part of WWE, or it's like I'm just here to have fun and like do my own thing?
Oh yeah, they'll totally take me. I'm sure.
Why wouldn't they? I don't know.
I can name like at least like 8 reasons why I don't think I'd ever be on their roster, even though I would love that, But I'm way past that. I'm like, I mean, yeah, I think if you're getting into wrestling, to just to have fun, I mean, that's fine. I think there's a pretty common ambition to get onto like like a corporate wrestling roster and do that, or to get seen and to make it turn it into a living. I mean, that's that ambition is definitely there for me too, and like it should be. You should shoot high. There's no reason not to. It's not like if I don't get signed in 3 years and I quit. It's not like that. Like I'll be doing this for a long time. I really enjoy it. I like just being in that mix. It's a lot of fun. And I'm allowed to enjoy what I do.
Yeah, you should.
And want to go as far as possible with it. So I mean, I think that's I wouldn't want to wrestle with somebody who would be like, I'm good. Actually, like mid-match, I'm just gonna go home and then just like leave. You know what I mean? Like that'd be like there's a little bit of dedication that you both kind of acknowledge. It's like, yeah, we're gonna make each other look real good and it's gonna be great, versus like, it's like actually I changed my mind. Take me off the show and I'm like already dressed out, Never seen that happen. But it's like
I hope not.
I think it would have washed out a long time ago. I think and I will say, I've witnessed it, maybe more from afar, but I've witnessed like people decide, it's not really not really for me after all, and they'll do something else, or maybe they'll do something that's kind of adjacent to wrestling, and that's totally fine too. I mean, like, it's not for everybody. It's not. You know, you kind of have to be a little, I don't know, something's messed up in there, maybe. You know, like, it helps. I'll just say it helps. I'm not saying everyone
Yeah.
has it, but it certainly helps. You know,
Yeah.
um,
That's
it
what I say about
requires a certain.
speedrunners, by the way.
Yeah, no,
So,
no, for real. Yeah. Speedrunning too. Like,
something's a
I feel
little.
like I'm right in that overlap, you know, that Venn diagram
It's a
of
circle.
like, like, my head's messed up in all the right ways that are
Yeah. Makes
right.
you
And then
very efficient, very good at what you do. Like, no,
yeah,
I love it.
I'll take that.
No, I think it's really good. I feel like there is a lot of ambition and a lot of motivation that you need to have, like you said, for wrestling and also for speedrunning. And I already know it's like it's not in my programming. Like I have tried speedrunning. I have tried speedrunning many different games. I just don't have the dedication for it. So like you talking about the fact that like you can't just half-ass this. You can't just be half in, half out. Like that makes sense for I feel like your personality.
Oh, yeah. I just like doing hard things, and, you know, I like proving stuff to myself, and
Yeah.
I will grind my bones to dust if it means, like, I flip that water bottle on its base, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
whatever, I don't know how my bones are getting ground there, but, you know,
Lots of flipping.
right, let's fucking
Violent flipping.
I get so competitive, I don't know, like, that's I will say, like, with speedrunning though, you know, I did it actively for so long, and, like, I heard that refrain over and over, like, you know, I don't have the dedication for it and stuff. Okay, like, you know, maybe if you're trying to be the most elite speedrunner ever, or even like at your game or your category or whatever, yeah, it might require that to get there. But I got into speedrunning just because it looked fun. You know, just like it looked fun to play this game that I like really fast. And I don't think I'm gonna go on record as saying this. I don't think that the point of speedrunning, I don't think it's just to be the best or to get a world record or any kind of like, you know, reflexive thing like that. I think it's, you know, the feeling of like, you know, like I'm the best or whatever. It's just a fun activity to do, and the improvement is what you aim for. But it's kind of like playing. I was playing cornhole a couple nights ago. I have no aspirations to be the best cornhole player in the world, but dang it, I was so like, I was like, I'm gonna figure out cornhole tonight.
I'm gonna figure it out. I really like that.
And I had fun doing it.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I persisted, I could be the best cornhole player in the world.
Yeah.
But I have no desire to do that beyond just like, just tonight, I'm the best cornhole player here.
I want to bottle whatever you're on. I want to consume it because I need whatever confidence you've got going on. I feel like my therapist when I go back and be like, so I was talking to someone over the week and I've learned that I just need to be like, I'm the best person right now at this thing. And then I can be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, and then you might not be tomorrow, but you were that one night, and it feels cool, you know? And
Makes total sense.
that's the fun part. It's
Yeah.
not just being permanently I'm better than you, because that there's something deeper there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, you gotta be better than everybody. There's something deep there. But
for
like,
sure.
just you know, friendly competition. I will say wrestling's I kind of do see it like that though. Like, I want to go real far with it, you know, but like, I'm there for a show. There's people there. If I entertain them and everyone's cheering and having fun, then I had a great night and I feel good about it. And like, that could just repeat night after night. And maybe I don't get signed anywhere, like corporate, whatever. Maybe it's just a long string of that. Is that so bad? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think
that's
so.
that's sounds great, you know? Sounds good to me. But yeah, you know, if I can build the audience up and be like a big stadium sometime, that'd be awesome too. I
Yeah.
love that. But it's for the same reason that I love playing a small crowd. Like,
Yeah. I think the next GDQ we need to just set up our own like GDQ wrestling.
absolutely. No, like honestly, like, because the finale, right? Void has a SMRPG in the finale.
Oh my gosh, does he really? I didn't even
It
see
does.
that. Oh my gosh, I've been
Yeah.
so bad at keeping up recently.
Well, he's and we're really close. And I was talking to him about it. I was like, hey, here's an incentive. Like, how about you don't just fight Kulaks. How about I suplex someone dressed like Kulaks?
Yes.
As part of the finale. I don't know, or I'll jump on some. I'll do a drop kick or something.
That would be so. I would pay to see that. I would donate so much money to charity to see that. So
Yeah.
I'm in.
But if it was to scale, then Kulaks is like several stories tall.
Yeah. So
that's not.
we gotta
With
work
the
that
camera
out.
wouldn't quite. But yeah, it'd be like a wide angle shot.
I would like it if they didn't have a wide angle shot and it was just like you, just like very, like.
I drop kick Kulaks's knee. Does he have knees?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Drop kick him right in the whatever his
equivalent of
equivalent.
his knee is. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I would still pay money for that, I think.
But no, yeah, donate your donations to Suplex Kulaks. Courtesy of Toucan.
I love that. Well, do you I mean, obviously you can promote speedrunning, you can promote wrestling, you can promote both, but where can people find you?
Well, my Twitch channel still exists. I just did a crossword puzzle on it the other day.
Yay!
I do want to get back to like playing JRPGs and maybe even speedrunning again. I never swore it off. I just took a break from it. But that's T0UCHAN2 Chan. And so you can find me there. I'm on Twitter. I'm on all that stuff. But I go by Fiona in a lot of places now. And I wrestle with DFW All Pro Wrestling Academy out of Dallas Fort Worth area. We do a lot of shows, like about 2 shows a month on average, around the DFW area. So if you're ever around, check us out, catch a show. They're a lot of fun.
Heck yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, amazing. Thank you so much for doing this. This was super fun. I feel like you've very much given me a better idea of like, how to become a better wrestling fan. And now I have to come
to debut.
Yeah.
Come train with me.
I will. We'll do that. We'll organize it.
Perfect.
All right. And for everyone else, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye. Yay!